जितना हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया था 29 तक। अच्छा, इसके बाद जो है ना, मैं अभी स्टार्ट करूंगा। इसको कंप्लीट करने के बाद जो है इंशाल्लाह हम स्टार्ट करेंगे स्पेसिमेन पेपर और फरवरी मार्च का। ये दोनों पेपर्स जो है हम इंशाल्लाह स्टार्ट करेंगे। तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 29 से स्टार्ट करते हैं। Compound Z is shown, and here we have a compound Z. What is produced in good yield when compound Z is treated with an excess of sodium carbonate solution at room temperature? And if you recall that sodium carbonate reacts with only a carboxylic acid group, no other group. If we talk about the organic compounds, so it means that when it reacts with sodium carbonate, so only a acid part, the carboxylic acid group part will be affected. So we will get this molecule. The whole thing remains same. We have OH everywhere on 3 positions. Then we have a O over here. Then C double bond O, which means it's a ester. Then double bond. And then this. Okay. And here we have a carboxylic acid. So the H of carboxylic acid was replaced by Na, and we got this product. So if we look over here, so we can easily mark C and D wrong, because in both, okay, in C we have a carboxylic acid, and in D we have observed a hydrolysis which is not occur, which actually not occur because it's not an alkali, so there is no hydrolysis. Now we are left with A and B, and if we look at B, all the H of alcohol are also displaced, which means it is wrong because alcohol does not react with the sodium carbonate. So we left with only one option, and that is A. So A is our correct answer. Is it understandable to everyone? जी, यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Now question number 30. The infrared spectrum shown was obtained from compound G. Okay. And C, we are not observing any a broader peak in this region, which means OH, or we can say alcohol and carboxylic acid both are absent. Yes, Tisha and Alicia, you both are correct. Very good. So if both are absent, then it means I can easily mark these two wrong. But we are observing a peak over here. And if you look at the range, it is around 1700 to 1800, and that peak is of carbonyl C double bond O. So that is present in the structure. So due to this, I will mark D wrong, and our C option is the correct answer. Yes. Is this understandable to everyone? जी, यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Okay. Now we are moving towards section B. Okay, Ayub, if you have to text me or ask me anything, do on the co-host where the name is chat here. See, in this we have a alkane only. And if there is a alkane, so there must be no peak of C double bond O. So that's why I marked D wrong. Is it clear to you, Ayub? Okay, so this is the very dominating and distinguishing peak whenever there is a carbonyl C double bond O group in a molecule, then you will observe this peak. Okay, now we are moving towards section B. If you are going to choose A over here, it means all three statements are correct. If you are choosing B, 1 and 2 are correct. If you are choosing C, then 2 and 3 are correct. And if you are choosing D, then first statement, the one statement is the only correct answer. But let me remind you, this section is now omitted now in your exam. We don't have this section, but we will do it for the practice. Okay. Now question number 31. The symbol for phosphorus ion is over here. The symbol for potassium ion is this. Here I have a 3 negative charge, and here I have a 1 positive charge, which means 3 extra electron this phosphide ion have, the phosphorus ion, and here it means 1 less electron potassium ion have. Hope it's understandable to everyone. What do these two ions have in common? They have a same number of electrons. Does this common in both the cases? If I talk about a phosphorus atom, it have a 15 electrons and it have a 3 extra electrons, which makes it 18 electrons. And if I talk about a potassium atom, it have a 19 electrons and it have a +1 charge, which means it have a 1 less electron. So it also have a 18 electrons. So first statement is correct. Okay, Tisha, let me see. Now, the same number of neutrons. So is this statement correct? If I talk about phosphorus, the number of electrons for phosphorus will be 33 minus 15, which gives me 18. And in case of potassium, the number of neutrons will be 37 minus 19, I think, which also gives me 18. So second statement is correct as well. Yes, Alicia. They have a same number of protons. No, it is completely wrong because if there are two elements, their protons must be wrong. Yes. So Tisha and Alicia, very good. So our correct answer is B in this case, because first 1 and 2 statements are correct. Statement number 1 and statement number 2. I hope it's understandable for everyone. Okay. Now let's move to question number 32. The repeat unit of polymer is shown. Okay. So here we have a repeat unit. Which type of intermolecular forces exist between a solid polymer? Okay. So if you look at the third statement, here hydrogen bond is written. And if we talk about hydrogen bond, for a hydrogen bond to be exist between the molecules, that hydrogen must be covalently bonded with fluorine, or a hydrogen must be covalently bonded with oxygen, or the hydrogen must be covalently bonded with nitrogen. But if you look at the structure of the polymer, there is no such case, which makes third statement wrong. Is it understandable to everyone? Then temporary dipole, and if we look over here in this group have a no dipole. And if there is a no dipole, which means there must be a temporary dipole between the molecules. So our first statement is correct. And if we look at the second statement, here it's a temporary dipole, permanent dipole. So if you look here, you have a CN group, and here you have a CO2 group. So CN group makes it carbon triple bond nitrogen, where nitrogen is partial negative and carbon is partial positive. And if you look at over here in this on this group, so this group must be like this. So here these two are the negative ends, and this one is the positive, partial positive end. So which makes that in this molecule there is a permanent dipole as well. So the second statement is also correct. So B option is correct. Yes, is this clear to everyone? Okay. Now, question number 33. The diagram illustrates the enthalpy change of a set of reactions. Which statements are correct? Okay. What they are saying, the enthalpy change for the transmission of U to R is positive 42 kilojoule per mole. So if we look, here we have a U and here we have a R. So if I move from U to S, then the enthalpy change will be negative 92 kilojoule per mole. And if I move from S to R, so the enthalpy change will be positive 34, right? So if I'll calculate the enthalpy change, it will be like, I have to, because they both reaction occurring in the same direction. So their enthalpy changes must be added. So positive 134 minus 92, what it gives me? 4 minus 2, 2, and 13 minus 9, 4. So I am getting a positive 42 answer though. So the first statement is correct. Is this clear to everyone? जी सबको clear है? If anybody have any doubt or confusion, kindly ask. Now, the enthalpy change for the transmission of T to S is endothermic. So I have to look into this as well. Here I have a T and here I have a S. So I can use this value because I am moving from T to U. And when I move from U to S, it's minus 92. So if I will solve, I will again add both of these changes. Yes, Tisha, you are right. Very good. So it will be minus 75 plus minus 92. So both are the minus values with the minus sign. So I will get the answer in the minus, which makes second statement wrong. And if there is a second statement wrong, so second statement comes in A, B, and C. So it clearly indicates that third statement will also be wrong. So our correct answer will be D in this case. That says only statement number 1 is correct. So it's a D. Yes, is it clear to everyone? Yes, negative is exo, Alicia. If we get the answer in the negative, then it's exothermic. And if we get the answer in the positive, then it's a endothermic. Okay. Yes, B is incorrect. 2 is incorrect. Now question number 34. Which statement about a reaction that has reached the dynamic equilibrium are correct? So for that question, you have to remember and memorize the characteristic features of the dynamic equilibrium. So the first statement says the rate of forward reaction equals the rate of reverse reaction. Yes, this statement is correct. And this is how we explain the dynamic equilibrium. Okay, Tisha, let me find. There is no overall change in the concentration of reactants and products. Yes, when the dynamic equilibrium change is reached, there is no change in the concentrations. The concentration becomes constant. So the second statement is also correct. There is no change in the measurable properties of the system. Yes, now when there is a dynamic equilibrium, there is no change we are observing. So any measurable property of the system is not changed. It remains the same. So the third statement is also correct. So our correct answer is A. Is this understandable to everyone? Now, question number 35. Group 2 elements and their compounds show trends in their physical and chemical properties. Barium is above radium in group 2 of the periodic table. Which statement are likely to be correct? Okay. Here, they have informed us that this is the position of barium and this is the position of radium in group 2. Okay. Wait, Alicia, let me remind when I complete the paper, then I will discuss that question number 33 again. Okay. Barium hydroxide is less soluble than radium hydroxide. Is that correct statement? If you recall the trends, you can recall that down the group, the solubility of hydroxides increases. So this statement is correct. Okay, Tisha, let me find. Barium reacts less vigorously with the water than radium does. Yes, it is also correct because the reactivity increases down the group in group 2. Barium sulfate is more soluble than radium sulfate. Yes, it is also correct because down the group, the sulfates of group 2 becomes less soluble. So again, our answer will be A. जी यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Okay, question number 36. Which statements are correct? The empirical formula of silicon 4 oxide is SiO2. Yes, because SiO2 is a giant molecular structure. So its empirical formula and molecular formula are same. Okay, Hamna, let me find. So its first statement is correct. Okay. The molecular formula of phosphorus 5 oxide is P2O5. Is it correct? Yes. Can anybody tell me, is it correct or wrong? So let me recall you. There is a phosphorus oxide. It have a formula as well. Yes, very good, Halima. P4O10 as well. This is the molecular formula of phosphorus oxide. So on the basis of that, so that is the first statement is correct and second statement goes wrong. And if the second statement goes wrong, it obviously means that third statement is also wrong, because then we are left with a one option only, and that is D, which means statement number 1 is correct, because A contains statement 2, B contains statement 2, and C contains statement 2. Is it understandable to everyone? Okay. देखें, तिशा आपने पूछा है why the third is wrong, but let me explain you. If you will find the second statement goes wrong, then there is a no need to work on the third statement. That's what I'm talking about exam point of view, because you have a very less time. So if you will see over here, that second statement is present in the A option, second statement is present in the B option, and second statement is present in the C option as well. So we will go for a D only. But if you want to know that why it is wrong, so let me explain you. Silicon 4 oxide and phosphorus both oxide are simple molecular compounds. So how it could be correct? It is a simple molecular compound, but if you talk about silicon 4 oxide, it is a giant molecular. You have always been studied it for since O levels, that SiO2. It's you have studied with the example of diamond and graphite. There are only three compounds which are giant molecular, three substances which are giant molecular: silicon 4 oxide, diamond, and graphite. Is it clear, Alicia and Tisha? जी, ये आप लोगों को फेवर है कि अब आप लोगों को एक फेवर मिल गया कि ये वाला पैटर्न आप लोगों के लिए नहीं है, बट मैं प्रैक्टिस इसलिए करा रहा हूं ताकि और अच्छी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाए कॉन्सेप्ट्स की और कॉन्सेप्ट्स रिवाइज हो जाए. Which reagents could be used under suitable conditions to oxidize अल्कोहल? और अगर आप मोर स्पेसिफिकली देखें तो ये प्राइमरी अल्कोहल है, राइट? और ये क्या है? CHO. CHO is an aldehyde, right? So प्राइमरी अल्कोहल से एल्डिहाइड बनाने के लिए हम कौन से रिएजेंट यूज कर सकते हैं? We can use oxidizing agent. All of them are oxidizing agent, but acidified potassium magnate 7 and acidified dichromate can oxidize primary alcohol to aldehyde. And here they didn't talk about the conditions. They didn't ask about the conditions to make the aldehyde from the primary alcohol. The conditions used are heating followed by distillation. And tolerance reagent can oxidize only aldehyde and sometimes methanoic acid only. So this statement goes wrong. And if this statement goes wrong, so B is the correct answer. Is it clear to everyone? Good, Tisha. Okay, now question number 38. Which free radicals can be generated during a free radical substitution reaction between chlorine and ethane? Okay, if we talk about chlorine and ethane, so we are not going to observe a methyl radical, right? And if methyl radical is not there, which means first statement goes wrong. And if first statement goes wrong, our answer will be C, because first statement is present in A, is present in B, and is present in D. But there is no first statement in C. And whenever you mark first wrong, it clearly indicates that the C option is correct. Is it clear? Very good, Alicia. Okay, now, which substance have a molecular formula C4H8O? Okay, it's, if you recall, C4H8O, its general formula is CnH2nO. And if you remember, I have told you it goes with aldehyde. It also goes with ketone. And it also goes with a compound having a carbon-carbon double bond and alcohol both. So if you look at first one, it have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 carbon, and it's a ketone. So it means it have a this formula. If you look over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, there are 4 carbons, and it's an aldehyde. So it also have a this formula C4H8O. And if you look over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 4 carbons, and it have a carbon-carbon double bond and OH both. So it means this compound also have a this formula. So our correct option will be A in this case. Yes, is it clear to everyone? Yes, Ibrahim, what you are asking about 38? Because they are saying that we are reacting with ethane, and ethane is C2H5, oh sorry, C2H6. So if you recall a propagation step where a chlorine radical reacts with the ethane, we always going to get C2H5 radical and HCl. So see, we are getting a ethyl radical, not a methyl radical. That's why first statement goes wrong. And if the first statement goes wrong, which indicates that second and third statement both are correct, and then the C is the correct option. Is it clear to you, Ibrahim? Now, question number 40. Which reaction produces pentanoic acid? To produce a pentanoic acid, the molecule must have a 5 carbon atoms. Okay, that is the first thing. So if we look over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 carbon atoms, but if we talk about this molecule, this is a secondary alcohol, right? And if it's a secondary alcohol, so on oxidation, it will going to produce a ketone, not a carboxylic acid. So again, our first statement goes wrong. And if the first statement goes wrong, it indicates that second and third statement is correct. And if the second and third statement is correct, then C is your option. This is the way that you have to start opt the question smartly. Otherwise, you are looking for every part, and then it will waste your time. Yes, we can do. I am planning as well to do the organic past paper sessions only. Uh, let me decide in the coming week. Hopefully, I will try to do this thing as well. Acha. Alicia, you have asked me something about question number 33. Yes, can you tell me what you are asking? I didn't get you what part C. This says what you are asking about T2S or R2T. R2T is minus 33. They have said, okay, let me justify that it is incorrect. If you look at the directions, what you will find that R is converting into T and T is converting into U. But U is also converting from S, as S is converting into R and R is converting into U. So if you will observe this cycle, what you will find that it is the end of the cycle, and the cycle is starting from here. Is this understandable to everyone? Yes, phosphorus 5 oxide is simple molecular, Ibrahim. So did everyone able to identify the starting part of the Hesse cycle and the end part of the Hesse cycle? So if I mark this one as an X, so I can make an expression that X plus minus 75 is equals to minus 134 plus 92. So if I will find the value of X, it will be minus 134 plus 92 and plus 75. So I think, I'm not sure, but 90 and 70 gives me 160, and it will be minus 134 plus 167. So I think you will get the answer positive 33. And here they have given you minus 33. That's why third statement is wrong. Yes, is it clear? Okay.